It's the Hook Cam back with another film breakdown for you guys. This time heading out west, checking out the Niners. Niner fans, you guys have a lot to be excited about in this upcoming season. Getting Jimmy G back, the emergence of George Kittle last year, all of this under the umbrella of Kyle Shanahan being one of the under the radar best coaches in the league right now, and one of the best up and coming coaches, I should say. That spotlight for up and coming coach is kind of taken by McVay. And it's well deserved. He's an outstanding coach. He does a lot of interesting stuff formationally, and with that wide zone scheme that he runs and that play action off of it, there's definitely something to be said about it. But today we're focusing on the Niners, and I know last season was tough, right? Jimmy G goes down early. We got Nick Mullins who steps in. Obviously not Jimmy G, but he definitely, I think, did a good job. But I think last year really forced Shanahan to put his guys in the best position to win. And it really forced him to be a better coach, to be honest with you. I think that last year made him a better coach because he didn't have the weapons. So coming into this year, obviously a great draft. Nick Bosa, 2 overall, is going to be a stud. I think the defense is going to take a lot of strides. But in this breakdown, I just want to go over a couple of plays that I think highlight Shanahan's ability to put his guys in the position to win, right? And it's running the ball, it's throwing the ball, it's getting, Kittle the rock when he needs it. It's taking advantage of the defense's coverage. It's all of that. So first things first, this play right here, personnel-wise, we got 21 personnel. At this point in the season, it's no secret that George Kittle's a stud. So they do this short motion right here and motion him in, right? And they're not motioning him into the line. They're just motioning him inside of this receiver. And what that does is it pushes this cornerback from being 1 on top of him to now 1 on this receiver. And we can see here from the Broncos, right, it's just going to be a cover 3 look. We're pressed on the backside receiver to the boundary. It's pretty common. But just watch how this thing shakes out, right? We got Goodwin right here who's going to run a vertical, and watch what this vertical does. That vertical, you can't really see it because of the NFL cameras, but that vertical really just clears out this route and clears out space, right? Cornerback 1 right here, he's going to bail, right? He's all over Goodwin. Kittle is going to break this thing off on a little out route, and he really does a good job running this route, and we'll get to that in just a second when the camera gets there. Right, we'll see here, Goodwin. Great job clearing out. Now, this dude, I know a lot of you guys are probably saying, well, why isn't he going with Kittle? Well, his job is the flat, right? He's the flat defender. And so when we watch this, Juszczyk runs out into the flat, and that's going to end up being his responsibility. This is where that scheme comes into play. If he doesn't have anybody to cover here in the flat, he's going to drop and he's going to get right in the way of this route. But because we have Juszczyk in the flat, right, we open up some space for Kittle, and he does a great job running this route too. This right there, the depth of his route, I think, is what's important on this, because he doesn't wait until he's in front of the linebacker, right? He doesn't run this thing in front so the linebacker's got a chance to hang on his hip. No, he clears this thing right behind the linebacker, almost makes it look like they're running a post, which would be right into the teeth of this defense. No, he cuts this thing out. A great job getting into space, going and catching that rock, and then he's just a freak after the catch, man. He's a ton of fun to watch. But again, it's that route combination of having a guy into the flat, to account for the flat defender, running that route behind it that ends up being a nice chunk of yardage here. And then on top of that, just in addition to this Niners offense, these 2 tackles are absolute studs. 2 of my favorite offensive linemen in the NFL, Mike McGlinchey and Joe Staley. Joe Staley here against Bradley Chubb. Bradley Chubb had an outstanding rookie year, but watch him as he just gets his kick, doesn't get too far in front, and then just stonewalls that dude. Great job all around by these Niners on the first play, and we'll see how this thing unfolds. All right, fellas, getting into the second play here. We have basically a trips bunch look out of the Niners. Defensive front-wise, we're going to have a 4-eye here, which is all that is a defensive end on the inside shade of the tackle. We have our nose tackle here, and then our 3-tech up top, and then, of course, our edge defender. This ends up being a sort of under front, right, because we have our 1-tech who's going to end up slanting to this side of the line, which is essentially the strength, which would make this an under front. Our 3-tech on the backside, and then, of course, our edge defender. So this trips bunch look, right? You got everything nice and tight on the inside. Broncos still in kind of a cover 3 look here. But a couple of things that the Niners do to formationally mess with the Broncos. First things first is they have this tight end, right? It's 12 personnel, and we have this tight end on the line of scrimmage, but detached from the line. And what that does is it brings Bradley Chubb out here, and it's going to widen him, right, which is going to open up a lane for us that we're going to see in a second, right? But Bradley Chubb is now widened, and that's because of his rules for the defense, right? His rule is probably outside shade of the attached tight end, right? And so he's attached out here. So he's going to be outside shade on that. The second thing they do is the short motion right there by 84, okay? Now, my guess is that the Niners have shown this formation and that short motion, and it's been some sort of dive or ISO or some sort of something inside here, right? Because it triggers this backer to walk up into this gap, okay? Now, Shanahan, knowing this, knowing his tendency, his own tendency in self-scouting, does a great job of scheming this thing up, making sure his O-linemen are good to go, and there's 2 blocks on this that are just key to this thing cutting it upfield, right? We'll take a look at this thing from the end zone. So up top here, we're going to get a cross block from 88 and 84, right? 88 is going to work out on Chubb. 84 is going to lead up on 31, this safety who's in the box, okay? 2 other big blocks on this. This backer is going to come A-gap. Great job by 75 shutting this thing down, taking a step into his gap, getting his helmet on that back side of him, and just forcing him down. Joe Staley as well, just collapsing this end, and a great job by the back cutting this thing up, right? Another thing, 84, when he makes contact with this safety, he does a great job getting his helmet play side, taking him. Oh, well, he doesn't. He ends up slipping backside. But so he gets in a bad situation here, right? Because this defender is now inside. He can make a play on this. But 84 does a good job. Accelerate the feet. Take him on the path you find him, and your back's going to make you right as we cut this thing up for a good gain and a first down on 2nd and 6. And we'll watch this thing in its entirety from the end zone here, right? We get that cross block. Great inside zone from the O-line, and we're off to a big-time first down. So, you know, again, Shanahan just scheming guys up, and it's a good job all around by this 49er crew. All right, fellas, next play here. This one's not too wild, but just a couple of really standard football things. Anytime we see defensive backs all in a line like this, it means man coverage. Straight up, it means man coverage. If you couldn't tell from this obvious blitz front, 3rd and 2, you got a young quarterback. You just want to pressure him, force him into a mistake. But we know this cat's coached up. Take a look at this play here. We know that we're going to get a blitz, right? We've got this safety rocking down, and we know that all these cats, they're all coming. We're all trying to force pressure, force a bad ball. Also, you're forcing this back to come in and block. But we know, right? Cubes knows that as soon as he gets his snap, pressure is coming. This safety is going to be the guy who's responsible for your tight end, right? Who cuts this thing across the field. And now we got a little bit of an angle to work with and some space to throw on. So again, we see this blitz. We know what's coming. Actually, in all honesty, Von Miller should friction this guy. And this is how defenses will kind of, they'll fight this quick blitz beater throw, is you friction your guys off the line of scrimmage, and that messes with the route timing, right? So Von Miller on this, he gets hands on, but he doesn't do enough, right? And he's actually dropping into coverage. So he's going to friction here, and then he's going to drop in front of 2 in case of any slant routes, right? But he doesn't do a good job frictioning at all, right? Just a quick hand place, that doesn't do anything. Kittle gets off, gets on a nice little slant for 2-3 yards, picks up the first down. So again, not a crazy play call, but just those couple of things that show to me that this dude's well coached up. Shanahan knows what he's doing. And again, a bad job by Von Miller with this friction, and Kittle's just being Kittle and picks up this first down. So all around a good job. Let's move on to the next one. All right, fellas, next play here. You know, again, it's Shanahan's ability to scheme guys formationally and route-wise that I think speaks volumes about him. Okay, so on this play here, really quick before we get into it, we're going to have a clear out essentially from 84, who's going to work vertically through this corner. He gets an inside release on the corner and really tries to work through 26. With Kittle, we're going to get a whip route that comes to the inside. Usually we have them break out. This time he breaks it in. Okay. The third thing that we're going to see is this back leak out into the flat, right? And with this back out into the flat, it's going to take care of this backer breaking out some space in the middle. Okay. And then that pick route as well from 84 really clears this thing up as Kittle takes this thing and he's off to the races. We all know how much of a threat he is in open field. Guys are just bouncing off of him. That's absurd. Okay, but really quickly watching this thing again, right? It's the clear out from here and this whip route. that really gets this thing going. Juszczyk almost runs his guy into the throw, which isn't great, but just an easy ball for Mullins to work with, right? And this is the thing that Shanahan does is he opens up space for his guys, and he puts his players in the best position, right? His best athletes in space. That's a recipe for winning. The third thing that I want to point out is Joe Staley here just stonewalls Von Miller, and anytime you do that, you got to point it out because it's just a great job. Von Miller's so quick off the edge, but you get this big, powerful dude who can kick with it, right? That's a tough kick step to work with here. But he kicks with it, just sits on it, just a great job all around, giving Mullins that clean pocket. But, all in all, like I said, it's Shanahan putting his guys in space and getting them in the best position to succeed. That's gonna carry them this year. I guarantee you. It's gonna carry them this year. Last play that I wanted to break down for you guys. This formation is the exact same that we saw earlier with that inside zone. Remember where there was that short motion here and then the cross block between these two? It's the exact same formation. The difference, of course, is that there's going to be a motion across the formation that's going to bring this cornerback over here with him. We're going to get a deep post from Dante Pettis here upfield. It's going to take the attention of this corner and that safety. And then we're going to get a play fake right here that's going to get these backers so close to the line of scrimmage that they don't have a chance to get in on this play. So we'll see the motion across the formation right there. It's going to bring that corner, right, eliminating him really from this play. The play fake right here, we can see these linebackers get sucked up into that. 51 tries to point it out, but it's too far gone. Kittle has some serious open space to work with, and a great block downfield from Dante Pettis, and he's off to the races. So just a great schematic play from Shanahan. Not really a ton that the Broncos could do. Everybody's following their rules. The only problem is this corner that's on Pettis should have dropped off of it and saw Kittle crossing. But again, they can't communicate on defense because these backers are all sold that it's a run. Right, these backers are at the heels of the D linemen. They got no chance on communicating that thing or pushing it back, right? So again, just a great job schematically and formationally of showing the Broncos the same formation that they gashed them on earlier, and now running a play action off of it. So again, Niners fans, this is why I tell you there's so much to look forward to. On top of that, we got McGlinchey and Von Miller just locking up here. No big deal, just blocking the best edge defender in the game. But again, guys, that's why there's so much to look forward to as a Niners fan this year. Shanahan's a great coach. Jimmy G's coming back. You got Kittle now kind of in his prime, really hitting his stride. So anyway, guys, I'm the Hook Cam. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Just trying to get my stuff out there. I love football, love breaking down these games for you guys, and hopefully once the preseason rolls around, I'll see some stuff that I like, and I'll break down more recent games. So anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.